Today I was asked how many genders there were, and I responded with two, because, but then they asked me why there were only two genders. So I've decided to prove it mathematically. I do in fact have no idea how to do this, but I'm just going to make it up as I go. So let's first take a look at the word gender. The word gender has 6 letters. Now that in itself doesn't mean very much, but if you take a look at the syllables, there's the syllable gen, and then there's the syllable der. Now, as most of you can do basic math, 1 plus 1 equals 2. And since there's 2 syllables, wouldn't that also mean that there's 2 genders? Maybe? Not enough for you? Try this on for size. In a marriage, there's 2 people. And since each person is a different gender, 2 divided by 1 for one each gender that the person is, you get 2, because 2 divided by 1 is 2. Makes sense? Also, try this on for size. So now, assuming that there are 2 genders, what would they be? There'd be woman and man. Or women and men, I guess. Now, if we're talking about math here and we're dividing them, men and men both cancel out, leaving just wo. And if you pay attention closely, you can see that wo comprises of 2 letters. Could each letter be a gender? Perhaps. What next? Some of you may be saying, well, all this is crazy. I believe there's a gender for every letter E in the word gender. Well, here's some news for you. There's only 2 E's. How do you explain that? Still don't believe me? Think back to Bill Nye saying that gender is a spectrum, which it isn't. Bill Nye the science guy, even that relates back to the fact that there's 2 genders. His name is Bill Nye, that's 2 words. Science, that's got 2 C's. See, there's allusions to the letter 2 everywhere. It's in fact so crazy that it can't be a coincidence. And by the way, coincidence only has 2 C's in it. And that's not all, folks. I went on the internet and I looked up this picture. Now, you can't just trust the internet with everything, but if you think about it, everything on the internet is made up of binary 1s and 0s. And 1 and 0 are 2 different numbers. And they're the only 2 numbers. Could that mean that there's only 2 genders? Perhaps. Now, I understand that some of you aren't the brightest when it comes to math. But if you try really hard and pay attention, you will learn that there are only 2 genders.